They got home around 7 p.m. Prosper was unnecessarily cold. Binta asked him what the problem was, but he told her everything was alright. They said the Thanksgiving prayers and some other prayer points. She was still very hopeful that her husband would cheer up once he sees her in her revealing ways, as it's going to be his first time seeing her almost naked or naked. Binta wanted to take a bath before microwaving some of the jollof and soup her mother had helped her package. She packaged enough soup and meat that she wasn't sure if she would be preparing soup for the next 2 weeks. Dear, what will you like to eat? Jollof or? I am not too sure for now. Why not just take your bath? You must be tired. I'll simply help myself when I feel hungry, Prosper said calmly. Okay, sweet. I will just take my bath. But the cake is over there, in case you don't feel like eating anything heavy. But remember, you need your strength tonight, Binta said in a cool voice as Prosper rushed out of the room. She took off her wedding gown and went into the bathroom to run a cool shower. She was singing as she showered, apparently because she was excited. 10 minutes later, she was out of the bathroom. She rubbed her body with a sweet-smelling lotion. She decided to go on D-less. Please permit me to use that word. At least, that was part of what the marriage counselors taught her. She took a see-through nightie and wore it. As she was checking herself out before the mirror, her darling husband walked in. Hey, sweet, you like what you see? She said in a very sweet tone. I just came to tell you that I've made up my mind and I have microwaved the jollof. Will you want some stew on yours? Prosper stammered and Beta smiled. To her, the guy was already confused. She believed she had sent him to another planet already. I will come downstairs to dish my food later. Just take your bath once you're through, she said, and he rushed out even before she could finish her statement. Her phone rang and it was her best friend Dumebi calling. She picked up the call. Hello, Dumebi said from the other end. I thought you would have been in the moon. I didn't know you would still have time to pick up. And Binta laughed. Girl, I am not yet in the moon, no. Just about to catch the flight, Neo. Babe, aren't you nervous? I mean, being your first time, Dumebi asked. I am a bit nervous though, but it is not like I'm doing something wrong. In fact, I'm about obeying God's instruction because I am legally married. I waited enough, girl, Binta replied. You know this virginity thing. I've heard of a bride who ran out from the bedroom when her husband wanted to make the move, Dumebi said, and they both laughed. Girl, I am even the one making the move. My own virgin know the shame more. I read books. In fact, sometimes I wonder how I was able to stay a virgin till this moment, considering how adventurous I am. Binta heard Smith's voice from the background. Honey, come to bed quick. I am missing you, he said to her friend. Smith and Dumebi weren't married yet, but they already do things together like married couples. They have had countless intimate encounters with each other, and Dumebi once confided in Binta that she had flushed twice for Smith, even though she is a Sunday school teacher in church. Smith works in Port Harcourt and comes once in a while to visit Dumebi. Dumebi also goes to Port once in a while to spend days with Smith. They have been engaged for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. Dumebi cherished the ring Smith gave to her so much. Binta had advised her about the danger of what she was involved in, but she keeps telling her that they will soon get married. I can't blame her because that's what Smith has been promising her for the past 5 years. Babe, just be patient with me. Let me make enough money to secure our future. I will come for the marriage proper soon. Meanwhile, he has enough already to take care of a family of 10. Babe, enjoy your night. Don't let me disturb you before Uncle Prosper will begin to curse me in his mind, the maybe said and hung up. Binta began to wonder what her husband was doing that kept him glued downstairs. Microwaving the soup shouldn't take him more than 20 minutes, but he has taken up to 1 hour. She was famished, so she walked to the kitchen to scoop her food. Prosper, she called as she saw him bending over the sink, doing nothing in particular. Is this guy thinking? Hey, you startled me, he said, looking straight into her eyes instead of her exposed body. Are you alright? She asked with much concern as she noticed her husband's eyes were red. I am cool, sweet. I am just a bit tired. Tired, K. I hope this guy is not trying to spoil show for me. To ruin the wedding night I have fantasized for months, Binta said in her mind. Let me go upstairs to take a shower, he said. Aren't you going to eat again? I have eaten. Thanks, love. Okay, let me eat mine. I will join you in the bedroom soon, she said as she took a plate and spoon to dish out some food. While eating, she thought of several things. I mean, what could be wrong with Prosper? She had thought he would be the one running after her to catch a taste of what she had got. But nope, she was wrong. But while they were still courting, Prosper was always flirting with her that she had to caution him most times. He always told her how he couldn't wait to have her in his arms. So what went wrong? Binta said, probably my husband is just tired like he said. But at least he should let us consummate tonight with a seal of love on our matrimonial bed. I love it when I hear some women boast that I lost my pride on my wedding night. She said, I too want to join that league. Or, is this my 90 not captivating enough? Probably I should go upstairs and use a stronger column than the one I used. She finished up her food and went upstairs to join Prosper, only to meet him sleeping already. He didn't even wear anything special, just his boxers and a pure white singlet. Binta was perplexed, but not dejected. As in, is this a movie? She joined Prosper in bed and crept into his side. She placed her hand on his chest and started patting it. Babe, please not tonight. I am really tired, he said as he turned his back on her. She wasn't happy with his reaction. She felt he was putting her off. She said, if there's anyone who should be tired here, then it should be me, because I danced like David. I hugged people. I jumped, but you didn't do any of this. She waited for a few minutes to hear what Prosper would say, but the room was quiet. She encouraged herself and said, I refuse to let it be on record that my own wedding night was a night of basbos. Good night, love, she whispered, and the next thing she heard was, her husband was snoring already. The following day was a Sunday. They both got dressed up for church service. It was going to be their Thanksgiving day in church for the success of their wedding. She had expected her husband would at least wake her up with a kiss or anything special, because the guy was all romantic all through their courtship. But it seems Binta was having a vivid imagination. Babe, did I do or say anything wrong? She asked when she couldn't take it any longer. We are newlyweds. We should behave as one. No kiss, no hug, no husband and wife talks, No romance, no foreplay, no moon. Who does that? You can't tell me you are shy because Augusta you are not. And I am not even sure you are still a virgin, though you haven't told me anything about your past experiences. Prosper placed his hand on her shoulder gently and said, "Why will you ask such a question, love?" "Because you aren't touching me. You aren't even looking at me the way a groom should look at his bride," Binta said, almost at the verge of tears. "But babe, we still have days, weeks, months, and even years to be together. Why the rush?" he asked, and Binta was dumbfounded. "If not now, then when? Touch me. Just make me feel like a woman, please. See the way I'm begging my own husband to at least touch me. Go down now. Today is Sunday. At least, let's keep it holy," Prosper said, and Binta laughed sarcastically. She said, "Even our pastors consummate with their wives before mounting the pulpit. So what's the big deal in it? We are married, Prosper. Is this even you? What happened to the romantic guy I married?" "Nothing. Nothing, babe. We just got married and today is our second day of being together. What am I even saying? Today is the first day, so stop being..." Before he could complete his statement, Binta moved closer and caught his lips in hers. She was hungry and really yearned for her man's touch. She was trying to pull off his shirt when he suddenly withdrew from her, stared deeply into her eyes and said, "Binta, there is something I need to tell you." He held her gently and made her to sit on the bed while she stared expectantly into his eyes. "What is going on, Prosper?" she asked as she swallowed nothing in particular. "Actually, I have been having this severe headache for the past 1 week now. I would have told you, but because I didn't want to get you unnecessarily worried, plus I thought I would be relieved of the headache before our wedding. But to my surprise, it is still persisting," Prosper said. And Binta stood up immediately, placing her palm on his forehead. "Oh, sweet, you didn't tell me that. What would have been the cause of the headache? We need to visit the hospital. Persistent headache isn't a good symptom at all. Let's go for a checkup or something. Father Lord, every power that wants to attack my marriage, that wants to attack my husband, destroy such power by fire in Jesus' name. I come against..." "Calm down, babe. You see why I was reluctant to tell you. There is no power anywhere attacking us. It is just headache. It will disappear soon. It is not an attack." "Okay, love, but please, we need to visit the hospital. I have heard you, but can we go to church now? It is our Thanksgiving. We shouldn't get there late." And Binta asked, "What about the severe headache?" "I can still manage till tomorrow. It's not like it's that terrible. I just need a lot of rest and I need to avoid anything stressful. That's why I was unable to perform my duty as a man yesterday night. But I promise you, as soon as the headache is gone, it will be a shutdown. I will deal with you radically," Prosper said, and she looked away coyly. Now she's getting shy. He gave her a peck and she melted, but the thought of his headache sent her whole body back to normal mode. "Can we go now?" Prosper asked as they interlocked their fingers and bounced out happily like the married couple they are. At exactly 8:30, they got to church. The Sunday school teachers were digging deep into the topic of the day. Funny enough, the topic was centered on courtship. Her friend Dumebi was the Sunday school teacher of their class, progress class, the same class where she met Prosper, who is now her husband. Dumebi smiled and winked at Binta. Immediately they got into the church and took their seats. Spoilt girl, Binta said within herself. It's time for questions. Any question? Please feel free to ask any question that has been disturbing your mind. No matter how odd you think it may be to people's hearing, ask, Dumebi said to the students in her class. Several people raised their hands to ask questions as expected when courtship or marriage is being treated in church. Dumebi picked only 3 amongst them just to save time. The first person who stood up to ask a question was a young girl of about 20 years. Thank you so much, ma, for that wonderful teaching. May God bless you, ma. You said the other time that intending couples must not engage in premarital sex according to Hebrews 13 verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Yes, that's very correct. Every true child of God must keep the marital bed undefiled. In fact, it's just that our youths of today have lost the ancient landmark. In those days, if you are not a virgin and you are married into a family, the shame you and your parents will be robbed with will be bigger than that of Tamar, Dumebi said. That's true. That's right, they kept saying in agreement with the teaching of Dumebi, while Binta kept imagining the kind of mind her friend has to be bold enough to take this teaching even when she herself has faltered and is still faltering. She said, my friend get mind though, I no fit try am. How will I be condemning an act I practice secretly myself? Well, the Bible says I shouldn't judge. Maybe there is a sacred place where she goes to ask for forgiveness after every sexual sin. My question now is, the lady continued, how will I know that my fiancé's something is working and will be able to satisfy me when I get married? The lady finished asking and they all started laughing. Binta said within herself, man, some people can be very shameless, sha. How can you ask such a question in the church? With something, Dumebi asked sarcastically with a mocking smile on her face, and her Sunday school students laughed the more. But the lady no send though. She said, I mean that's okay. That's very okay. We understand. An aged deaconess in their midst said, looking at the girl with disdain and moving her hand as to signify that the girl will land in hell soon. They could hear other classes laughing too. You should understand what I'm saying if you attend Sunday school. This courtship, marriage, family-related topics during Sunday school are always very lively and interactive. After the laughter had died down, a woman stood up to answer the girl's question. Well, young lady, just as our teacher had said, don't allow any man to sleep with you before they pay your bride price, because the respect will not be there after marriage. In fact, you will not be able to stand before those who are coming after you to share your testimony proudly. Imagine you are being called upon to speak on the topic virginity before marriage. What will you say? Moreover, if you are advising your children in the future to keep their virginity till their wedding night, and one of your children asks you, Mommy, did daddy meet you a virgin on your wedding night? What will you say? That's true. Several people were humming and nodding in agreement. Or do you think they cannot ask? Children of nowadays will ask so, the woman added. The young lady who asked the question stood up again, not still satisfied with the answer. Listen, ma, I didn't say I won't keep my virginity. I will. Abi, shebi is just to keep virginity. No problem. My question is, how will I know that he's something? I mean, his Johnson will satisfy my desire. Another round of thunderous laughter was released as another woman stood up to answer her. The aged deaconess stood up to whisper something into the ears of the Sunday school coordinator. I know I am making some people remember their home church right now. Praise the Lord, oh, the woman who wanted to answer the question said to call the attention of everyone. Hallelujah, they all answered. Binta was enjoying the moment and she wondered why the men weren't saying anything. Young lady, to answer your question, the thing is simple. You will just stylishly gauge it or use title. She had not finished answering, no. Somebody just shouted, away, and people laughed out loud. Prosper stood up and went outside. What he went out to do, Binta didn't know, but she was too consumed with laughter to even bother to know. Brethren, what is going on? Please, let there be perfect decorum. In fact, no more questions. The devil has crept into the church stylishly. Let us rise up and pray. Everybody say, Father, please have mercy. We have committed a grave sin, oh. And that was the aged deaconess. By the end of the service, the lady who asked the question was called into the pastor's wife's office, where she was counseled to trust God for her own partner, for God's choices are always the best, and if something of such happens, God will step in to perform a miracle as He led them into the union. And that answered her question. Binta stayed for some minutes to gist with Dumebi while her husband waited in the car. So tell me, babe, how's married life? Dumebi asked, smiling at Binta. Married life is sweet. But my friend, you get mine though. See the way you preached about abstinence in relationship as if you were a virgin. I hail you, Oba. I can't. I will just be stammering all through because my conscience will prick me. See, Binta, forget that one. We ask Baba God for forgiveness anytime the thing happens and He forgives us. It is not actually my fault. It is Smith's. He doesn't want us to keep the bed undefiled. So what I go do? You know say husbands dey very scarce. But girl, I beg you, take it easy. Don't take God's grace for granted. Shall we continue in saying that grace may abound? She hasn't finished with her statement when Dumebi cut her off. God's grace can never finish. They are new every morning. You Virgin Binta, Virgin Mary. Oh, sorry, I've forgotten. Oga Prosper had already changed that title. You and I are now the same. Tell me please, how was the experience? Binta knew exactly what she was asking, but because she wasn't ready to tell her that there was no show last night, she just laughed and bade her farewell, telling her that her husband was waiting in the car. She joined her husband in the car, but noticed that he kept a frown on his face. Could it be because I kept him waiting in the car while I talked with you maybe? But I obtained permission from him and he said there was no problem, that I could wait to talk with her for some minutes. Prosper, I am sorry for keeping you waiting in the car. Please don't be offended. It's okay, he said sharply without even adding love, sweet, babe, or any other pet name. Binta tried to bring up a topic that would clear off the frown from his face. The service today was fantastic. The Sunday school especially. That lady that asked that strange question is so funny. That is it. I don't understand how a well-cultured girl will ask such a question in the church. For goodness sake, it is a place of worship. And let me tell you, that girl must have been active with several men to have asked such an insensible question. Corrupt girls who try to corrupt the minds of other innocent girls. Nonsense! Prosper was blowing so hot that Binta was really perplexed. Calm down there. It was just a question, she said, surprised at her husband's reaction. She had never seen him this angry, especially not towards ladies. An insensible and needless question. That girl should be flogged. Imagine the dirty language she was even using. What if he's something? Which something? Rubbish. Thank God the teenagers and children classes are different. That's how she would have polluted their innocent minds. People like that don't have business in the church at all. Is he up to that? Prosper, is everything alright? You are getting unnecessarily overboard, Binta said, and it was as if cold water was poured on a burning paper. His anger cooled down. I am sorry, sweet. I just feel the question wasn't necessary at all. It's alright there. You know we have different kind of people coming to church. The church is just like the hospital where different people go for different reasons. Some go there to work, just like our pastors and ministers go to the church to work for God. Some go to the hospital to receive medical attention because they are sick. Just like some people need spiritual attention in the church because they are either spiritually or physically sick. Some go to the hospital pregnant and expectant to be delivered of their babies. Just as we have people who go to the church to deliver and use their potentials for the growth of the church. Why some are not sick or pregnant, but they just go to the hospital for checkup as a normal routine. The same thing goes for people who are spiritually sound. They are not pastors, just ordinary members, but they come for fellowship in the church to ensure that they don't fall back into the world. My dear, we just have to tolerate everyone and give them counseling when necessary, Binta said, and her husband smiled for the first time after the incident in the Sunday school. Thanks, my love. Thanks for the teaching I didn't pay for. You had better go and join the Sunday school teachers. So which of the groups do we belong to, he asked, and she laughed out loud as they drove home happily. They got home and she bathed immediately before going to the kitchen to prepare some nice meal. When the food was ready and the dining set, she went upstairs to call Prosper, but he was in the bathroom. Prosper, food is ready, she said. I will join you soon, dear, he replied. She was about walking out when she noticed a message drop on his phone. His phone was on silent mode, but the lights blinked. She ignored the message, thinking he would see it once he's out of the bathroom. The phone rang, and she tried to check who it was. She picked up the phone and realized it was her husband's sister Doris who was calling. Honey, your sister is calling, she announced to him. Don't mind Doris. She just won't let me rest. Don't bother to pick it, Jerry. I will call her back later, he answered from the bathroom. Okay, love. The phone stopped ringing, and just as she was about to drop it, her hand clicked on the message that came in few minutes ago. The message too was from Doris, but she wasn't sure of what she just read. Could it be a mistake? She started shivering. Her temperature rose up immediately. Could this message be a typographical error? The phone suddenly became so heavy in her hand. Prosper came out of the bathroom to see her holding his phone and her eyes red with hot tears. Hey, African Tales by Kama Tribe. Can you please guess the contents of the message? Please like, share and subscribe if you have not, because this is going to be an interesting ride with me. Till I bring the next episode of the series your way, it is a goodbye from here and God bless you.